Hi, and welcome to the content video for 3.4 Multiplying Decimals Fluently. Fluently. From Course 1A Singapore Math. So the expectation is that you get really good at it. You need to be fluent at it. As you can see, there are four things that we need to understand, and then you are good to go. So let's begin with the first one. It says multiply a decimal by a whole number. So we have a decimal that needs to be multiplied with a whole number. So let's understand this with an example. Let's say we have 0.5 times 6. In this case, because 5 times 6, even if you don't do your multiplication, you can say 5 times 6 is 30, right? So let's say 30. Forget there was a decimal point for the time being. After you get this, now go to the decimal point and see how many decimal places do you have? Just one. So we go from right to left and start counting. So it's just one. So this is one. And we put the decimal after that. So that is 3. Okay, so that's how you do multiplication. So you multiply as you are generally multiplying whole numbers and then count the number of decimal places and put the decimal point. Let's take one more example and with this method 0.79 times 4. Now we have two decimal places and it's a bigger number. So we will actually do the multiplication here. 4 times 9 is 36. So we write 6 here and 3 carry. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 plus 3 is 31. So we write 1 here and 3 there. 4 times 0 is 0, but this 3 comes. That's 3. So far, we did multiplication as if there was no decimal point, right? So that's 316. Now we will look at our decimal places. And let's see. In the first number, we have 2 decimal place. And in this, 0. So the total is 2. We have 2 decimal places. We have to add them. If, for example, here we had 1, it would be 3. Okay, so 2 plus 1 is 3. But because we're doing whole number, we don't have any decimal there. So that's 2. And as we did before, we start counting from right to left. 1 and 2. And after that comes our decimal. So it's 3.16. So this is how you do a multiplication for a decimal by a whole number. Now we go to multiply tenths by tenths. When we say tenths by tenths, it's basically one decimal place that we are talking about. Now here you have two methods. Let's take numbers as 0.3 times 0.7. This is something that you can do mentally also, okay? So 3 times 7 is how much? 21. How many decimal places? 1 and 2, right? 2. So 1 and 2. So the decimal is going to be here. So we put 0 there. So that's 0.21. That's one of the ways to go. The other way is we write in a different format. We express this in the format of a fraction. So 0.3 can be written as 3 upon 10, right? It's 0.3. 3 upon 10 would be 0.3. So we write it in that format, multiplication as it is. And for this also we say 7 upon 10. Then we multiply the numerators. 3 times 7 is 21. And the denominator, because it's multiplication, we will do that. When it's addition and subtraction, we leave denominator as it is. Like if it was 3 upon 10 plus 7 upon 10, we would say 10 upon 10. Okay, we don't say 10 upon 20. Now it's multiplication, so we multiply. And that's 100, right? So 21 divided by 100 is what? 2 zeros. So 2 decimal places. So that's 0.21. Okay, so that's another method to solve the same question. And the last method is just like this one. So we write here 0.3 and 0.7 and we multiply. 7 times 3 is 21. So we write 1 here and 2 there. 7 times 0, 0, that's 2 there. So we write 21. Now we count the decimal places. We have 1 here and 1 here. So altogether two decimal places. So 1 and 2, we count that and we put our decimal here. So that's 0.21. So whichever method you feel comfortable with, you can use. So let's do the next one. It says multiply two decimals with one decimal place. So it's two decimals with one decimal place, right? So we have two decimal numbers and both have one decimal place. Okay, so let's take an example here. Let's say 2.5 times 0.6 and we multiply this. So we write in this format 2.5 and 0.6. So we say 6 times 5 is 30. We write 0 there and 3 carry. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 15. Let's count the decimal places. That's 1 here and that's 1 there. So together we have two decimal places. So 1 and 2, always do from right. The counting is done from right. So this is where the decimal is going to be. So it's 1.5. So this is what you have to do in this. And then comes the last part. Wow. Multiply decimals with one or more decimal places. Now you have one or more decimal places. So let's take an example with two decimal places. Let's say 0.89 times 0.23. How do we multiply this? So first we will write in this format 0.89 times 0.23. And as you do your normal multiplication, it's the same process. You have observed that, right? That's how exactly it works. It's at the end that you count your decimal places and put the decimal point. Okay? So we begin. We do 3 times 9, which is 27. So 2 goes there. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. So 2 goes there. 3 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2. We write plus there. We put 0 first. Then we say 2 times 9 is 18. 8 there. 1 carry. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 1 is 17. So 7 there. 1 carry. 2 times 0 is 0. But there is 1 here. So we put that 1 here. Now we add 7 plus 0 is 7. 6 plus 8 is 14. 4 there. 1 carry. So that 3 plus 7 is 10. So we put 0. 1 carry here. 1 plus 1 is 2. As you do normal multiplication, right? Now comes the decimal part. So here we have two decimal places and here also two decimal places. Altogether, 4 decimal places. Okay? So we start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where our decimal point should be. So we put a dot there and we just put a 0 there. So answer is 0.2047. So this is how you multiply. So it's not a difficult chapter. It's just your normal multiplication that you do. And you have to be careful in putting your decimal point at the end. Count the total number of decimal places that you have in all the numbers. And then from right to left, start counting. So you go from right to left, count that many places. After that many places is done, you put your decimal point. And if there are digits on the left hand side, it's okay. If there is no digit, just insert 0 over there. So this is all that we have to understand. And that's why this says fluently, right? Because you already know. So getting fluent at this is not a big deal, right? So I hope this is helping you. You are becoming more confident and you have started liking math and you want to do more math, right? So we shall meet again in independent practice for this chapter. Until then, enjoy and keep revising. Goodbye.